Good evening to everyone in the audience, and those that are at home watching us this meeting, this March the 16th meeting. I'd like to call it to order. And would you bow with me, please? Once more and again, our Heavenly Father, we said thank you. Thank you, Father, for allowing us to see another beautiful day. Lord, we just thank you for each and every one under the sound of my voice, Lord. Those that may be going through a storm or either coming out of a storm, Lord. You know. Bless our county in a special manner, Lord. Bless our law enforcement, our emergency service in this county, Lord. Bless our staff, Lord. Continue to be your fence around them, protect them, and guide them, Lord. Lord, bless each and one of our commissioners sitting around this table, along with our clerk, Lord. Touch them, touch their family, Lord. Bless their family, Lord. Lord, bless our nation all over the world, Lord. Lord, just touch us, touch our hearts. Give us more love and more understanding, Lord. Lord, bless us and guide us as we go through this meeting. That whatever be said and done be pleasing in your sight. These blessings we do ask in thy name. We count it all done, Lord, in thy name. Amen. Would you stand for me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. We'd like to thank each and every one who took part in that. Right now, we go down to approval of the agenda. Are there any deletion of the agenda stand approved? Can I get a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to, under other matters,
Okay,
I have a topic at that point.
and other matters, okay,
Yes, sir. Thank you.
all right. Can I get a motion accepting the agenda with the deletion of other matters at a topic in our other matters?
Make a motion, we approve agenda.
I second.
It has been moved and proper second that we accept the agenda. All in favor, you vote sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Stand approved. All right, moving right along to consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead. Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second motion, Mr. Chairman.
It has been moved and proper second that the consent agenda will stand approved as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. All right. Moving right along to introduction and recognition and presentation. Proclaiming, celebrating Small Farmers Week 2026. Commissioner Griffin.
Good afternoon. At this time, I'd like to ask Ms. Selena McCoy, the head of our Extension Service Office, to come up at this time. It's such an honor for me to be able to make this proclamation this week. I'm on this board that works closely with Selena, and farming is a very close thing to my heart. So I'd like to read this. Proclamation recognizing Small Farms Week, March 22nd through 26, 2026. Whereas Granville County cherishes its agricultural roots and celebrates the innovation and resilience of its small farmers, who continually seek new paths to profitability and sustainability while strengthening local food systems, promoting food security, and supporting the economic vitality of our communities. And whereas Small Farms Weeks was established by the Cooperative Extension at North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University to recognize small-scale farmers and educate the public about their vital contributions to agriculture and rural communities. And whereas the 40th Annual Small Farms Week will be celebrated under the theme, Deep Roots, Strong Future, 40 Years of Small Farm Impact, honoring 4 decades of innovation, resilience, and dedication among small farmers across North Carolina. And whereas the 2026 Small Farms Week celebration will begin with a kickoff event in Granville County, home of the 2025 Small Farmers of the Year, recognizing the county's important role in supporting and advancing small-scale agriculture. And whereas the Granville County Cooperative Extension has provided invaluable support to small farmers and agricultural producers, recognizing its contributions to the growth, sustainability, and prosperity of our local agricultural community. Now, therefore, the Granville County Board of Commissioners hereby proclaims March 22nd through 2026 as Small Farms Week in Granville County and urges all residents to celebrate the diversity, innovation, and resilience of our small farm communities, and to support local farmers in their pursuit of profitability, sustainability, and a strong agricultural future. This 16th day of March. Yes, if the Eatons would come up, I would really greatly appreciate it. And Wendy? Would you like to say anything?
Oh, I think you've said it all.
Okay. If I may introduce at this time, this is Mr. and Miss Eaton. They are the 2025 Small Farmers of the Year. And I just want to introduce them for their farming innovations and the wonderful things they do to promote farming and to promote small farmers. And this is Wendy Tatum, who works for Food Insecurities for Granville County. So, okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Okay, moving along. Public comment, Madam Chair, Madam Clerk, do you have any, public comment?
Yes, we do. The first would be Eugene Fudel.
Would you come please and state your name, address?
Wait 1 second. You can press the button on the, down at the end of the mic. It turns green. Right, there you go. Thank you.
Okay, my name's Eugene Fudel. I live at 1521 Anterior Drive, Wake Forest. It's in the Marshall Landing subdivision. We are in the process of getting our subdivision road taken over by the state of North Carolina. And I'm just here to, I guess, express my desire and everybody else in the neighborhood their willingness to put this road in. Of the 33 homes, we had 31 people who signed up and are for the road. So that's pretty good, pretty good. So I guess at this time, I'd just like to thank everybody for your consideration for this. And also, I'd like to thank Barry Baker for all his help with this project and going through this process. So anyway, that's all I have to say. And I think I'll be back on the April 20th is the next time. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Next is Anjulo Otho. Okay. And if you'll both state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Honorable Commissioners. My name is Ajulo Otho. My address is 1325 Raleigh Street, Oxford, North Carolina.
And I am Kathy Anna, 902 Roxborough Road, Oxford, North Carolina.
And thank you for your time this evening. We want to tell you a little bit about Culture Fest, but before we get into Culture Fest, I want to tell you about the John Chavis Historical Society that sponsors Culture Fest. The John Chavis Historical Society is based here in Granville County, and it is an organization that is recognizing the contributions of one of our native sons, John Chavis, who was born here in Granville County in 1763. He actually fought in the Revolutionary War as a teenager. He was one of the first to attend Princeton University. He is a Presbyterian minister. He also taught children, both Black and white, across the state of North Carolina. While that was still legal, he taught many of them Latin, in fact. So he was a scholar and a devoted Christian. We at the John Chavis Historical Society put on a number of events throughout the year across the state, but primarily here in Granville County. Many of his descendants are still here in Granville County, including my family. My mother, Dr. Helen Chavis Otho, was the person who started the Historical Society. She actually wrote the book about John Chavis. And we're so excited by one of our signature events, which is Culture Fest. And it has happened now for 6 years.
I've had it for 2.
It's been going on for 6 years. We've grown bigger and bigger year after year. It's held in downtown Oxford. And so I'm going to turn it over to Kathy to talk a little bit more about Culture Fest and what our request is of you all.
Thank you. Thanks, Ajulo. You all have packets in front of you that has a letter where we are requesting $5,000 from the county to help us fund Culture Fest. We have grown just so much. Ajulo brought me in a couple of years ago because it was getting a little bit too much for one person to handle. And I am a professional event planner, so this is what I do for a living. We have been having it on Little John in the parking lot back there. There were probably 600 to 800 attendees. So she brought me in, we moved it to Main Street, and the first year we were just praying for 1,200 people. And we had over 3,500 people. Last year we topped 5,500. So you see every year we're growing. And this year we're changing our marketing strategy because that's also something that I do as part of my company. We are not only reaching locally, mostly local people know about Culture Fest, but we're going throughout the state and then surrounding states because this is a big deal. The culture and arts festivals, there are people who this is what they do. They just come to these events. And so what I prepared is a little infographic for you that states on average what the average attendee will spend at a festival. And that is right down here for you. Our total economic impact is quite substantial, you can see, just by bringing this many people into the area. And so what we are hopeful for is that people will come in and not only just enjoy the festival, but they're going to get to know Granville County better. They're going to get to know Oxford better. They'll get to know Creedmoor. They're going to be coming through. And so our goal is to continue to grow this larger and larger every year until we have to ask you for a lot more money to help. We do have sponsors that are coming on board. You know, that can take some time when you're dealing with corporations. I do have sponsor sheets here that give our different levels. If anyone has a company and is interested in sponsoring, becoming a sponsor, we have these shameless plugs. But we're asking you guys to help us. We have not asked for any money from you before. So this is our first time requesting funds for Culture Fest. And we're hoping that you'll see the benefit of it to the community. We do have our farmers market same day, but then they come over to us when they're done. So they get to be a part of Culture Fest as well, because agriculture is huge here in Granville County. And we count that as culture. And so that is it. You have your packet, you have the data. Do you have any questions for me or for Ajulo?
Mr. Chairman, may I just say just one word of reflection? Mr. Julo, I tell you, I remember when your mom brought this idea up. I know she smiles down now because it's become such a big event. And I just want to commend you for your efforts. I'm very impressed with the economic impact that I see. Hadn't thought about some of this in these terms, but it's surely a wonderful thing for Oxford. My family enjoyed it last year, and you know, just wish you all well, and thank you so much for bringing this to us tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Cozart. And one thing I will mention as well, with our expenses, we have to pay our performers. Our performers don't volunteer to come and be a part of Culture Fest. They're each paid usually a minimum of $500. Some charge us $1,500. But we feel it's important to have those cultural performances to really make this a part of what we're trying to do here, which is bring culture and arts more to Granville County and more tourism. So we ask that you prayerfully consider a $5,000 gift to the John Chavis Historical Society to help sponsor Culture Fest.
Do you have any other local government sponsors?
Government sponsors, that we're hitting the city next. We're hitting Oxford next. You're first.
Yeah, we are supported by Downtown Economic Development.
That's true.
And also tourism, Granville County Tourism and Development Authority. We have received some support recently from Granville Medical Center. So we are gaining some momentum there.
How much funding are you getting from tourism and from, what's the other organization?
From Downtown Economic Development.
Yeah.
Typically, they're around 600. Tourism is 5,000. The total budget is 35,000.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, both those are county entities. Yeah.
Tourism is.
Right. Well, we fund it.
And DOEDC.
We provide funding.
You fund DOEDC as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we provide funding.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, question for county manager, have they filled out the appropriate budget expansion request?
This is the first contact we have had with them as well. And quick answer to that is no, but if commissioners are interested, and even if it's only for next year, we'd be happy to send them the nonprofit application form.
That'd be great, because I know we, with the budget season in full swings, we want to make sure we have an opportunity to have that as part of the budget process. And expansions are tough when you don't, when folks don't vote for more taxes, and then we have to make tough decisions. You know, it's hard.
Mr. Chair, if I may, you were doing a plug for the sponsorships.
Yes.
What levels are they?
The levels start from $500, which is community partnership, all the way up to our premier, which is $10,000. Yes, sir. And each package comes with a little different, something different as far as marketing and making known who is sponsoring.
I figured while you were making a plug, you might as well get that out there too.
Thank you so much.
And I just want to say, if I may, Mr. Chairman, how the leadership of men about young people were put out there on the spotlight. My grandson, Coach Shack, had his karate students out there performing, and it was a big thing around the house for several weeks leading up to it. So a lot of good came out of that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, we've had West Oxford perform as well, so we try to engage our K-12 schools. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Next up is Sheriff Fountain.
Good evening. Blessed are the peacemakers, so they should be called the children of God. I just want to stand before you gentlemen and ladies this evening to say and ask for prayers for law enforcement across our nation and our military. I've attended 3 law enforcement funerals in the past 2 weeks. Today was the one we had for Winston-Salem. Forsyth County Sheriff's deputy was killed in the line of duty. The world is changing. Our guys are getting younger. Their decision-making isn't as ours as mature guys are. But we'd ask for you to continue to pray for law enforcement in this community. Even today, we hired a couple more young guys, and we just need to pray for them and some discernment amongst us as a community as we move forward. But that's all I wanted to say. But be in prayer for these young guys out here serving our communities. Thanks.
Sheriff, while you're here, do you have a position on the anti-federal enforcement of our laws with that's happening in our municipalities? Well, in particular, ICE.
I think that some middle school kids asked me the same question Friday night. I work with ICE. What other people do, I cannot speak for. So I support all federal, state, and local law enforcement on the record. So if anybody asks me, I can say it. I support all local law enforcement, federal and state. I get federal funding by housing federal detainees. I also will work with Immigration and Customs because when somebody comes into my jail, I am required by law, House Bill 312 and House Bill 10, to notify immigrations of people who are being detained that are not citizens of the United States. So we run an IAQ. When those records come back, immigration then tells me who to hold and who to release. So I support those activities and I comply with the laws as they stand.
Thank you very much. That's the exact statement I was looking for.
Yes, sir.
Sheriff, I have a question for you in that regards. Should ICE be in Granville County and should they engage in a lawful law enforcement operation and request your assistance, will you assist?
We will assist any local law enforcement, federal law enforcement to the extent of what my jurisdiction boundaries are. What I cannot do is serve administrative warrants, federal warrants. I can assist in any other way, protect the community and protect law enforcement in this community.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. By the way, I have one more question along those lines, Sheriff.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me. When your officers conduct operations, tactical in some cases,
Yes, sir.
are any of them ever masked?
Yes, sir. And I was just speaking to the commissioner about it, and someone asked the question, I allow my guys, when they're serving high-risk warrants and doing Operation Tactical, to use face coverings for their identity purposes. And that's with the execution of high-risk warrants and any other warrant services that we do. It's an option for them. I don't tell them they can't. That's a discretionary thing for them to do, and I support whatever their decisions are.
And what is the purpose of them wearing that covering?
Officer safety. And that's one of the most paramount things that I always consider. And that's their discretion if that's what they feel to protect themselves and their families.
So if an ICE agent came to Granville County and happened to be wearing a mask, you would not engage in any activity in regards to having that mask removed?
I don't have any jurisdiction over any federal law enforcement.
Right.
So,
It's called the Supremacy Clause.
yes, sir. I will not have anything to do with that.
All right. Thank you, Sheriff.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. There's some municipalities who don't think the same as you.
Well, I'm just a little different. Thank you.
Anybody else have anything to ask the sheriff before you leave?
Thank you. Thank you. We always enjoy the opportunity to speak with you. Thank you.
Okay. What that's it? Oh, okay.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to present to you the contract agreement for landscape maintenance at 10 county-owned sites. We are currently using multiple contractors at these locations and would like to consolidate the contract down to just one. On January 9th, we posted a request for bids and received submissions from 16 businesses. Scott and I reviewed the bids and would like to award a contract to B2 Landscaping based out of Granville County. B2 is maintaining most of these areas right now, and we're very pleased with his work. As you can see, the 3-year contract is for $97,316.62 a year, with an option to renew at the end of 3 years, with what time we'll probably get a small increase if the gas prices keep going up. Development Services is recommending that the Board of Commissioners authorize the county manager to execute the contract once finalized by the county attorney, and we are asking for a July 1 start date to align with our new fiscal year.
Y'all see the recommendation coming from, Development Service, Director Scott Phillips, and recommend 3-year landscaping contract.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the recommendation of our Scott Phillips and Mr. Blasco to award the contract to B2 Landscaping for a 3-year period.
Second.
All in favor, you vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed, got the same sign.
Thank you.
Moving right along to, we have
I'm sorry.
we have a purpose for legislative hearing to receive the public comments regarding a rezoning request submitted by RHT Proprietors LLC for 44.47 acres front on the either of US Highway 15 South and or East Shady Grove Road. The request seeks to rezone properties from agricultural residential or AR40 or neighborhood business to prime industrial district. The planning board unanimously recommend approval of the rezoning request. I declare this public hearing open. And at this time, I would like to recognize Barry Baker to come forward, county planner, and give us a brief overview.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen. Do want to state first that all public notice as required by local and state law have been accomplished for tonight's hearing. As the chairman summarized, it is for 44.47 acres of properties that are comprised of 6 tracts. It's approximately located about 2 miles south of I-85 on US 15. It also has a small secondary road called East Shady that it also has frontage on. It is the blue hatched area shown. You will see other zoning districts, but it is the blue hatched area. It's about a mile and a half north of here. As the chairman mentioned, the planning board did recommend approval unanimously at their February meeting. They also issued a written consistency and reasonableness statement, and you will see it on the screen and in your agenda materials. They also conducted a spot zoning analysis and found that it would not constitute spot zoning. Spot zoning is also called has another technical term, but spot zoning is the most common term. That's also in your information. And after holding a public hearing on February 19th, the planning board unanimously recommended approval by a vote of 6-0. I'd be happy to answer any questions. Anyone in favor of this rezoning? Take the name.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Stephen Hayes. I live at 28 Hayes Court in Franklinton, and I am part of RHT Properties requesting the rezoning from the AR40 and neighborhood business to the storage site that we're proposing. We've done this for many years at different locations and feel that this would enhance this property. We have done some preliminaries as far as soils. Soils were not conducive to septic for residential. So we've decided to put it up for commercial. We feel it's consistent with not only what Mr. Baker had decided or presented, but also in connection with that corridor that continues to grow around the 85 exit that's in that location. And I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Good day. Mr. Hayes, how many storage units do you propose in that area?
Right now, Mr. Williford, we do not have the total number. We're going to start off with about 450 to 500.
Okay.
As Oxford continues to grow with the different homes that are here, we feel that this would be conducive for that area. Again, we had done extensive research on the soils, and just for that area, for whatever reason, the soils were not conducive to septic.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Hayes.
Yes, sir.
Do you guys have the storage buildings on US 1 behind Tractor Supply?
Yes, sir. We do operate that.
Is this going to be consistent with the looks of that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It is.
That's
It
very
is.
attractive property. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Just do you have a question? I mean, it's just to make a, well, it's more of a point. I mean, it's 1,200 foot linear at the widest and 250 foot at the narrowest, with I-85 as one neighbor, Highway 15 as the other neighbor,
Yes, sir.
an exit ramp is the third neighbor,
Yes, sir.
and Shady Grove is the fourth. I can't imagine wanting to live in a neighborhood that was that close to the interstate. I just think it's a great use.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair. So I don't know if it's appropriate to ask this question or not at this time, Mr. Wren, but can I ask him about the landscaping of the location? What's any buffer from the road, anything like that? What are we going to see when we drive by?
As the gentleman said earlier, our sites are typically well-maintained. We go in with the columns and black wrought iron railings, and it's very attractive. As far as landscaping, we're planning to keep it consistent. Some visibility from the road, but definitely there will be some landscaping and trees planted. Some will be remaining along I-85. We will not will not do anything to that. So there'll be somewhat of a buffer there, but there'll be some other landscaping. And this will go on for, some time. We will not do all of this at one time.
Thank you, Mr. Hayes.
Yes, sir.
One matter I need to disclose, I didn't realize that Mr. Hayes was involved with this development. I've not been involved in this, but I just want to make clear to the board that our firm represents Mr. Hayes on a personal basis on a matter. that's unrelated to this and and we've had no involvement in this matter.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
Anyone else like to speak in favor?
Yes, my name's Benny Overton. My address is 107 North Street, Oxford, North Carolina. I own two properties on the west side of 85 directly across the interstate from those properties, as well as two other properties on off of East Shady, West Shady Grove Road, and a little bit farther down 85 that's landlocked by other properties. But looking at the sites that Gatekeeper has in Youngsville, as well as other uses that we might have for that land, I have no objection to the proposed use of it for the storage facilities that have been proposed. Think it is something that might be needed. The RV and boat storage and our proximity to the lake, and it offers residents of the municipalities within the county an option outside of those boundaries where they can possibly get a better rate tax-wise for storage of those types of personal properties than they might otherwise. So I have no objection as a adjacent landowner.
Anyone else in favor?
Are you taking general comments still or only in relationship to this property development?
There is,
I signed up to speak, but I'm just.
in favor or against?
Pardon me?
Are you speaking, are you want to speak, you speak again, a favor for this,
No, I'm asking, I signed up to speak, but you apparently moved on to the property development, and I don't want to speak relative to the property development, but I did sign up to speak.
I'm sorry, let us finish this and I'll let you speak, okay?
Perfect, thank you, sir.
Okay, that's our mistake. I'm sorry. Anybody else, in favor? Anybody, since there's nobody else want to speak forward, anybody want to speak against it? Okay. After everyone has spoke, does the board have any questions? The board don't have any questions? Or clarification? I declare this, public hearing closed. With the pleasure of the board.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we concur with our planning board and approve the 44.47 acres for rezoning.
Second motion, Mr. Chairman. Consistent with the consistent statement, Mr. Wood.
With the consistent statement, okay. All right. It's moved in proper second that we, concur with the planning board, with the consistent statement.
There was also a reasonableness statement with that as well.
Yes, sir.
Just also please note the reasonableness statement that was adopted as well.
Okay, reasonable statement was adopted as well.
Mr. Chair, I need to make the board aware that I have an association, a relationship with Mr. Hayes, but I don't think that exists any longer. He's no longer part of our homeowner association. But I wanted to make the board aware of that because in previous actions this board had with Mr. Hayes, I had to recuse myself. I have no financial bindings or any attachments with Mr. Hayes per I've discussed with the council, but just making that part of the record. Thank you.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it, stand approved unanimously. All right, moving right along. Oh, now we go here. Yeah, okay, we go hear her public comments right now, okay? Come on, sugar.
Please state your name and address for the record.
I understand. Thank you. As a former city council member in another state, I'm not afraid to speak up to people sitting behind a podium on a stage. My name is Chris Stevens.
Oh, excuse me. Could you state your name, please?
I'm Chris Stevens, 3585 Arbor Place, Wake Forest. And this will be a switch. We are all painfully aware of the vitriol that engulfs our nation, and I would like to share a personal prayer that God will prevail. Lord, we are aware that we're too quick to judge people. We hear a lot about family values, but what loving parent would not cross a country's boundary in the hope of better health, better food, and better lives for their children? Help us calm our fears. We are becoming conditioned to look the other way when even citizens of this country are killed through our government's clumsy attempts to control. Help us learn from you how to treat everyone fairly and respectfully. Like Peter, we understand, quote, that you show no partiality, but in every nation, anyone who fears you and does what is right is acceptable to you, end quote. We are loud in our condemnation of people whom we are told are our enemies. When we behave this way, we reject your counsel to turn the other cheek and pray for our enemies. We think of ourselves as righteous, yet we cast disdain on those you identify as the blessed, the poor in spirit, those who mourn, the meek, those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, the merciful, the pure in heart, the peacemakers, those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, and those who have all manner of false, evil things said about them. Help us, O God, to understand the wisdom of the vision shared with us by the prophet Isaiah. He anticipated the time when people will, quote, beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation will not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore, end quote. Lord, save us from ourselves so that we may become the people you would have us be. You have granted us free will, and the choice to live according to your word is in our hands. Amen.
Thank you. And I apologize for missing, because we thought you were speaking in favor for, okay. Okay, all right. Moving right along. Preliminary assessment, resolution for Marshall Land and Subdivision. Who's taking that? Mr. Baker? Oh, there you go.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. This is a preliminary consideration of a preliminary assessment resolution for street improvements for Marshall Landing Subdivision. Marshall Landing Subdivision is located off of Bruce Garner Road in southern Granville in Brashville Township. And again, this is consider approving a preliminary assessment resolution for street improvements to the Marshall Landing Subdivision pursuant to the resolution entitled A Policy for the Improvement and Assessment of Public Subdivision Streets adopted by Granville County Board of Commissioners on March the 2nd, 2015,
and pursuant to North Carolina General Statutes, Article 9, Chapter 153A. The Granville County Planning Department has received petitions that seek for Granville County to bring Marshall Landing subdivision streets and any associated street intersection within the subdivision up to the standards required by the North Carolina Department of Transportation for the streets to be accepted as part of the state-maintained road system for public maintenance. Once the final assessment roll of all costs associated with the street improvement project is approved by the Board of County Commissioners, property owners would be assessed their fair share of the assessment as determined by the final assessment roll. Estimated road improvement and county consultant cost is $268,259.06. Bids can be higher or lower. There is a collected bond for $19,025 that can be used to offset the cost. This road estimates that was provided to us, done by the county's transportation consultant, was handed out to the folks who received the petitions to pass out to all the property owners so they would have an idea of what that estimated cost would be. This subdivision was approved in approximately 2005, so it's a 20-year-old subdivision. And so what you have tonight is consider approving the preliminary assessment resolution for street improvements for Marshall Landing subdivision that calls for a public hearing on April 20th, 2026 to consider adopting the final assessment resolution for street improvements for Marshall Landing subdivision. I would be happy to answer any questions anyone has.
So not really a question, but just appreciate the yeoman's work that the residents of this neighborhood, and especially forgive the familiarity with Eugene, Mr. Fudel. I wish that the folks had done this when we first brought it forward, because this was one of the neighborhoods, was the catalyst behind the political capital that was spent when this first came up in 2015. And I would imagine that it would have been probably half the price back when we first tried this, and it failed because folks didn't want to have to pay for it. And now here we are. And I just very much appreciate yourself working on this, as well as, like I said, it was a heavy lift, and I appreciate you.
County Board of Commissioners that consider approval of preliminary resolution for the street improvement for Marshall Landing subdivision.
Mr. Chairman, I'll offer a motion that we accept the Planning Board's recommendation and the preliminary assessment resolution for street improvements for Marshall Landing subdivision, and that we call for a public hearing on April the 20th, 2026 to consider the final adoption of the assessment resolution of street improvements for Marshall Landing subdivision.
I second.
resolution. And April the 20th, y'all, public.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Economic development.
Good evening. I am bringing a matter back before you that you discussed on your March 10th work session, and this is to consider helping the airport, Henderson-Oxford Airport Authority, meet the remaining funds needed for a 12-inch water main extension to get service, municipal service to the airport. I am going to quickly go through a few of our main points. Where am I pointing this thing, Jessica? There we go. Thank you. So if you'll recall, my department helped our airport authority folks, and by the way, I should say our vice chair, John Carver of the airport authority, and your Granville County representative for the Henderson-Oxford Airport is here tonight. So I want to thank him for being here. If you have any extra follow-up questions for him. But we, Economic Development helped the members of the Airport Authority apply for Golden Leaf funding for the Community-Based Grants Initiative, and they were awarded $600,000. It was not the full request that we went after, but we were happy and thankful to get some funding for this project. So this funding from Golden Leaf cycles through, basically every 8 years, it cycles through the state's prosperity zone. So it's highly competitive. There was $11 million to award this cycle, but no county could receive more than $1.5 million. So we were thankful that both the Airport Authority and Vance Granville were able to bring in two awarded projects to the county. So what we applied for is a 12-inch water main. It runs a little over half a mile. It is a shovel-ready project that will leverage $500,000 that was already awarded to the Airport Authority by the North Carolina General Assembly. They have that money in hand. They've already started using some of it on the design work with their engineering firm. This water main extension is a critical link to realizing the rest of their capital improvement plans, at least vertically, in terms of building new hangar space and a new FBO. Did I say that right? Okay, I'm learning. All right. So currently the facility is reliant on well and septic, and this does impact what they can provide in terms of fire suppression, which impacts the types of aircraft they can host at the airport. This is key. And we'll talk a little bit more about that potential revenue impact later, but just to show you what their budget is looking like, this water main extension is going to cost about $1.4 million. Golden Leaf did award $600,000 of the original $900,000 that we requested. The state legislature, of course, like I said earlier, has given $500,000. And so the request for you tonight to consider is to helping assist with that shortfall of $300,000, primarily in construction, with some of that in contingency. While the Airport Authority is made up of 4 jurisdictions, each having a member, so that's Granville County, Vance County, the City of Oxford, and the City of Henderson. Each of those 4 jurisdictions appoints someone to serve on the Airport Authority Board. But agency is located entirely in Granville County, and so all aircraft that are taxed, that tax revenue stays within Granville County. Aircraft is taxed as personal property unless it's owned by a business, and we're looking at a depreciation of about 2% per year. So in 2024, we saw a little over $3.7 million in our tax value of our aircraft. 2025 set to go up just a little bit, $3,790,447. So at your work session, we discussed what the impact of this water main, if we could build bigger hangars that would be, and get the fire suppression in place, we would be able to host larger aircraft like light corporate jets, which start typically at $3 to $4 million new, which is basically what we're collecting for the, what did we say, 53 aircraft roughly at the airport now. So of the 53 engines that we have at H&Z, what we could host if we can get on municipal water is in getting one corporate jet here, like we discussed with the Variety Wholesalers jet that's currently at RDU, and they wrote the letter of support saying they would love to consider moving their aircraft to this airport. They just can't do it now without the correct fire suppression in place. And I will pause there to see if you have any questions from the work session or after hearing a refresher tonight.
Mr. Chairman, I have a quick question. Ms. Duncan, how important, you hadn't touched on the importance of the economic development value of the airport in doing your work and your staff's work as far as showing properties that are available for industrial development. Can you just touch on that a little bit?
Sure,
And
yeah.
how the airport would play into that?
Yep, thank you. So one thing to consider is the airport is located about 4 miles from our Triangle North Granville site. So it is an asset that we talk about for that site as well as countywide. We talked about at your work session the importance of transportation facilities as economic development infrastructure. Oftentimes we think of that as highways and how we move freight. We're lucky that we have a little bit of a freight corridor in rail with Norfolk Southern that comes up the southern end of the county into Oxford at Certainteed. But we also are lucky enough that we have general aviation here. And what that does is we can think about the growth of getting our C-suite executives here into existing, visiting existing facilities and the ease of transit for them. But that is an appealing economic development asset for new business recruitment projects. That ease of access in and out of the county for executives. But we can also start looking at how our aviation facility can serve companies that do just-in-time products, right? So they might be getting in one type of widget, painting it, moving it to something else. So we can start thinking more about not just moving people, but moving goods too. And then there's also the recreation, leisure, tourism aspect of it that we could build more with more access. I also want to mention, you know, I'm in economic development. I'd love to see our airport grow and be able to tout that as a resource for us here. But we have also been able to use letters of support from our forestry service recently because the airport is used in staging and sending out planes for forest fires. We also have 3 different hospitals that use it for life flight. Military operations happen out of this airport, as well as agricultural operations. So they have a great capital improvement plan in place for the next 20 plus years. But anything that's going to come out of the ground that's going to be a better investment for us has to get on city water in order to make that happen.
Thank you.
We have space for more than just one big, large.
Yes, the airport currently controls about 220 acres, and so there is space to grow, to construct.
I have a question. So currently, these multi-million-dollar jets can take off and land at the airport, correct?
Yes. Now this is where I have to turn. So we have a taxiway that is long enough, and I think is there some extension in the future possible? John, do you want to come up?
Could we ask Mr. Carver to come down, please?
It was kind of a loaded question. I sort of know the answer. So these multi-million-dollar jets can take off and land, but they just can't live here.
Yes.
Not currently. However, I do want to address what she said regarding the property and what we have going already. As far as we have a federal project that we're working on now that was funded by the government. The FAA has been dogging us for a while to do this project and finally got funded. And that is to move the current taxiway out so that we can maintain our status as an airport supporting larger aircraft. If we didn't do this, they were going to say, okay, if you're not going to do this, then we're going to take that classification away from you, and then you would not be able to have corporate aircraft in there. And it has to do with the wings of the aircraft and the spacing from the runway to the taxiway. So what this project does is move the taxiway away so that aircraft can land and they can taxi without the wings touching each other.
Mr. Carver, while you're there, would you tell them what the public and our board, the value of what that taxiway reconstruction is?
Yeah, it's about $8 million. And it's normally our projects that we have to match on are 10% match. This one, because the FAA was pushing it so hard, they gave us a lower match, which is about $250,000, which is great because it allows us to move forward with the project, get that out of the way, so that we can move on to other projects like this water line project.
And if I can ask another question. Go ahead. Briefly, were there all plans down the road for some FBO improvements?
Absolutely. That is part of our 10 and 20-year plan. We are planning to build another FBO, a new FBO, to replace the one we have today. And that will serve a lot of the larger aircraft and general aircraft that we have.
It's a side question. Have we reconsidered talking to the FBI, FBC, I guess it is Federal Bureau of Corrections? They currently use a different airport, is that right?
That is correct.
Now, they used us at one point in time in the past.
You are correct.
Are we going to bring them back?
We have attempted to talk to them several times. At this time, they say they're okay with where they are, which is Roxborough.
It's closer to us.
Well, you're right. It's very close. But they could come back at some time. So
just a plug.
And John, if I may, also in the meetings we've had, the numerous meetings we've had, in all of these, the RDU is trying to get out of the private, explain that.
That is correct. A couple of years back, all the surrounding airports around RDU were asked to come to a meeting. At that meeting, they told these airports that they are not going to support general aviation at RDU. Their goal is to become an international carrier, support international carriers. So to make it simple, you don't want big jets taking off and landing, and you got some guy you got a 4-place airplane sitting on the runway. It's going to impede their traffic. So basically, they told everybody that attended that meeting, we are going to push to move you guys out to surrounding airports. And that actually has happened. We have built additional T-hangars. We are full. So we have a list of 43 people that would like to have a hangar at the Oxford Henderson Airport, but right now we don't have a place for them.
Mr. Chair. So, Carla, could you just give a little, Charlie, I'm sorry. Thank you. Our RPO was working on hangars, and if you could just touch on that, because we've made that a priority, because we realize that we want more hangars. It's just not a starting point. It also speaks to what Mr. Phillips talked about last week, was we cannot have these things without having infrastructure. We can't have a great Triangle North without having infrastructure. We can't have a great airport and an airport to meet the needs without great infrastructure. And so I feel a sense of urgency when we're talking about these things, because we can never move the dial from an economic development perspective in Granville County unless we're willing to invest what's necessary to build that ability to be aircraft and also bring business here. Just because you have it doesn't mean people will come. You have to have something they want. So if you could add to what we're doing with our hangars.
Sure. What Commissioner May is referring to is in our rural planning organization, our RPO, the Kerr-Tar RPO, when we submit projects to the state transportation infrastructure planning program every year in Division 5, which is a competitive division. It's quite large and it includes Wake, Durham, Chatham, all those counties. But there is an aviation section where we can submit aviation projects. And because our RPO does not have a general aviation facility for each county, we do have some wiggle room there to get more projects in. And so we're trying to be a little more diligent about what we submit, paying attention to that section and submitting hangars for consideration, as well as we did put the water line on there. But to go back to the matter at hand, the legislature saw fit, thankfully, to award them $500,000 for this project, and they have to use that by this summer or that money goes away. So if you do decide to commit up to $300,000 tonight, it will be to leverage the $1.1 million that's already been invested in the project by our state partners. To not commit it would lose that, and I would say arguably would be a setback. And I will go back to Commissioner Karen's. I think the Triangle North Executive Airport in Franklin County, which is at their Triangle North Franklin site, has a runway that's the same size, I think, as ours, and they do more than double the visits each month. If that gives you an idea, and they're able to store some of the larger aircraft.
And Mr. Carver, our runway is as long as it needs to be for anything up to a commercial flight? Is that a accurate statement?
Well, any of the larger private aircraft, like a Gulfstream 650, which is what we saw when Revlon was bringing theirs in. So yes.
If I could just make a comment, Mr. Chairman, is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to, this vote is coming up in just a second or two, and I'd just like to say that John Carver is the vice chair of the airport authority. David Thomas is the chair, and then we have two other members. And we have met with Commissioner May's help with everyone possible to meet with. Republican, Democrat, it didn't matter, whatever, senator, congressman, and we have tried to turn over every stone to get this across the finish line. We received the $500,000 2 years ago, and that started the engineering process. And again, we have to give this money back by July the 1st if it's not used. The Golden Leaf is getting us close to the finish line, and if this board approves it, it will get us through the finish line. But I'd just like to thank John while he's here for all his help. We met multiple times. Charlotte has come on board and picked up the ball and carried it graciously and done a great job. So, and Commissioner May has worked with me tremendously, and we're this close. So I would urge the board to pass this so we can get across the finish line. And John, again, thank you for everything you've done. You have really been.
Oh, thank you, Rob, and Commissioner.
If we pass this tonight, how long we be getting started?
So we are in the process of giving Golden Leaf their confirmation. This is part of that documentation we have to give them. So once that is completed, then those funds will be coming to us, as well as, if you approve it, the $300,000, we actually can start the project then, because we've already got the engineering in place. So it's real close.
So you got everything ready to go.
Like she said, shovel ready.
Okay.
It's been designed. It just needs to be constructed.
All right.
Okay.
And I will mention that there is an existing tap on Salem Road already, right at Airport Road. So all the city has to do is tell us where it is, and we tap into it, and, we can construct the pipeline and get it down to the airport.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to offer up a motion. And I'd like to appropriate $300,000 from unassigned fund balance in support of the Henderson-Oxford Airport Waterline Extension Project, specifically representing prior year sales tax revenues that exceeded budget projections. These funds are non-ad valorem in nature and therefore are available for project support and meet the state's restriction prohibiting the use of ad valorem tax revenue in the enabling legislation.
Mr. Chairman, I will second Commissioner Gooch's motion. Happily.
All in favor of the vote, sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Stand approved. Okay.
Authority for your continued vision of having an airport that supports the economic development in Granville County. Thank you.
Thank you for all your hard work and yours too, Charlotte. Thank you. And Commissioner May.
I've learned a lot. I can't wait to learn more. But I will never want to learn what it looks like in your plane above the, will not be.
It's a little snug, but it's quite comfortable.
We'll see. We will see. We will see how that goes. So the next item I have for you is to establish an architectural review committee for Triangle North Granville. So in 2024, 2024, gotta get my words right. The Declaration of Easements, Covenants, Conditions, and Restrictions for Triangle North Granville was recorded with the Register of Deeds. And in that covenants, there is a requirement that we will establish an architectural review committee consisting of 3 members that this board would select. And that committee will review and act upon any proposals and plans submitted by property owners within the park, approve any proposals and plans as they comply with applicable design guidelines that are in the covenants, and any other duties as assigned. And the recommendation this evening is that you would appoint the following 3 folks to the Architectural Review Committee in their capacity in these roles: the Granville County Economic Development Director, Granville County Development Services Director, and the Executive Director of the Kerr-Tar Regional Council of Governments, which, as you know, acts as the administrator of the Kerr-Tar Regional Economic Development Corporation. So we have a project right now. Vance Granville Community College's Center for Advanced Manufacturing and Applied Technologies, as you know, is in schematics. They are going to state construction at the end of this week with their initial design plans. And so now is the time to get this committee in place and make sure that we're abiding by our covenants that we have in place. Any questions for me or for Attorney Wren or County Manager?
I'd like to move for approval.
Second motion, Mr. Chairman.
It has been moved and properly seconded to accept the recommendation. All in favor, vote sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Good evening. So I am here to present the budget amendment. And the first item is the $300,000 that was just approved. And as Commissioner Gooch stated, that this has been identified as non-ad valorem revenue needed to fund this project, which meets the state restrictions. The other item on this budget amendment is to recognize and appropriate $7,400 in funds that was given by Farm Bureau to the Cooperative Extension Program. The last item on this amendment is to transfer $750,000 from the general fund unassigned fund balance to the assigned fund balance to support the courthouse repair, maintenance needs, as well as any anticipated costs associated with relocating the Register of Deeds office. And this is just to ensure that we have the funding in place and assigned when we need to pull from it to take care of the anticipated expenses. Any questions?
Mr. Chair, I recommend, I make a motion that we go with the recommendations made regarding Budget Amendment 12 by the Finance Director.
I second.
Aye.
Aye.
I make a motion, I would nominate Commissioner Rob Williford.
I second.
Aye.
All opposed? Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to reappoint Rob Williford as Chair of the ABC Board.
I second.
What? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Aye.
He always does. It's okay.
So I'm going to explain this to the board and the public. They hear me do this often. So I'm not sitting in judgment of anyone. They just have a distaste for alcohol. So there you go.
Commissioner May has always been consistent, and I respect that.
And I also have a distaste for alcohol, the cheap stuff. It's just not a distaste. I didn't do it. I didn't do it justice there. It's faith-based, and I respect the fact that you guys respect that. And so even if we were voting for the greatest person in the world to sit in that seat, it would be a no. Okay. County manager report.
Just quickly, I want to be clear, that vote was to reappoint him to fill both the seat and the chairmanship.
Oh, okay. You clear? Okay, okay. Moving right on, county manager report.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a couple of items this evening. First of all, the first two items on our consent agenda tonight, I think, deserve a little extra attention. The county received two large estate gifts from the estates of two deceased individuals. The first was nearly $100,000 from a Mr. Mays, who left that money to animal control. Mays spelled differently than this one. And Jane Norton's estate, which left over $80,000 to the Senior Services Department and the library system. And so on behalf of those departments and the board, I want to express great gratitude to those individuals and their families for seeing fit to do what I would consider to be a very generous and productive thing with some of the proceeds of their estates. I was happy to hear the proclamation for Small Farms Week, and glad the Eatons are still here this evening. I also wanted to give a shout out to multiple departments at Granville County that work to also support small farms. Certainly Cooperative Extension is one of them. Byron Curran and the Soil and Water Conservation District also work hard on their behalf, and the tax department too. And they've been working together to try to make sure that hosting events like the Keeping the Farm Day events that I think help make sure that people who do want to continue farming are aware of all of the tools available to them to help support that work. So gratitude to our staff who work alongside farmers like the Eatons to keep farming relevant and productive in Granville County. Final comment tonight, there has been sort of a steady stream of commentary in local newspapers about, among other things, the county's fund balance. And I have done my best in a couple different environments to clarify what I believe the purposes of that unassigned fund balance to be. Among other things, it helps us get the most advantageous interest rates when we borrow money. It means we're in a good position to respond to natural disasters. You know, I thought today, I wondered, and I hoped that we wouldn't need any of it, but you know, if a major tornado did hit here, we would be in a good position to respond very quickly to something like that. And even tonight in the budget amendment, right, we're able to put a pretty good size down payment on needed renovations at the courthouse without dipping into the general fund, without touching the tax rate. And so I know that this board, which created the fund balance goal that we have, and I know that your staff as well are committed to responsibly manage fund balance, and I believe we're doing that. And so I hope that's a little bit helpful. I have invited a number of individuals on an individual basis to come sit with me and the finance director and ask whatever questions they like, and I'm happy to extend that to any member of the public. I think that the county is well managed financially, and we have no secrets. All of our documents and budgets and audits are published online for anybody to look at who likes. And so I'll leave that public offer out there for anybody who's interested. And thank you very much, Mr. Chair. That concludes my comments.
I'm sorry. County Attorney report.
Nothing for open session, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
You want me to do that? We have one matter, a personnel and attorney-client privilege matter for closed session.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Presentation by board member. Commissioner Rob Williford.
Just two quick things. I'd like to agree with the sheriff that we need to pray for the law enforcement, especially those that are new, young, and inexperienced, as well as all law enforcement, especially the new ones. Before he leaves, I'm looking at him, but I've been on the ABC board for a few years, and when I came on board, the gentleman sitting there with his derby hat on. Alan, you want to stand up? Alan was on the board and taught me a lot of what I knew as a mentor to me. So he comes to our board meetings and sits through them all. He doesn't leave early. So I'd just like to thank you, Alan. I appreciate it. Congratulations to the Eatons. I've known his family for many, many years through the hardware store. They're good people, good people. That's all for me.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just got a couple things. First of all, I too want to say thank you to the sheriff and all of our law enforcement people. If you don't know it, my nephew was hired today as a Granville County deputy. And I'm very proud of him, and I know that he'll serve our county and our citizens very well. I'm also thankful that the tornadoes did not destroy our county today. You know, the Lord has shown grace on us once again. And last but not least, I want to thank the Eatons for the things they do for our county and our county extension offices and the ability that we are trying to do to strive to feed our citizens in our county. Food insecurity is a big topic, and we need to make sure that we're doing everything we can to provide for those that are not as fortunate as we are. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Cozart.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, and I just want to echo those words about the Eatons. I actually could walk to their house. I'm so impressed with how they have used so much technology and how they have just taken the concept of farming to another level than what my parents and grandparents did. So I congratulate you on that and wish you continued success in all that you do. I wanted to just say how much I appreciate being able to attend the Veterans Program on March 7th. I had a chance to fill in, Mr. Chairman, and do the welcome. They called me to do that and allowed me to participate in a role that Commissioner May had. We understood why he couldn't be there, and I had a chance to thank them. As I was going to that event, I told someone, I need to go, I need to get to the Veterans Program, and they said, you know, we went to a Veterans Program? It's not November. I said, well, our Veteran Affairs Committee in Granville County, they really, really honor the veterans, and I want to thank all of them for putting together a nice program, and we had wonderful fellowship. The chamber banquet was absolutely nice, well attended. It was packed in there. And I wanted to mention, I want to congratulate publicly Deanna Gardner. She won the John Penn Award, and I probably will bring that name back up again in the future. She's doing an awful lot for the homeless, and I tell you, I just couldn't believe how much she's accomplishing. So well deserved, and I want to find a way to just congratulate her again. But I think there may be some ways that the things she's doing are really touching on some real needs in our county. So just wanted to say how much I appreciate her. At Granville Hospital, we're so happy that we're moving towards. We have our endoscopy center ribbon cutting, and we surely look forward to that being a great service. And before too long, our physical therapy, we're hoping that's going to be enhanced as well. So we're looking forward to new and better things there at the hospital. And I want to share, Mr. Chairman, I get this to you before your next agenda meeting. The Bridges and Cozart reunion will meet for the 80th time this Labor Day weekend. And I'd like to just share a proclamation I'd like the board to consider. But I'll get that to you in plenty of time for the next meeting. Thank you all so much. I think that's all that I have. And yes, that's all. Thank you. And me too, I share your thoughts on that, Commissioner Griffin. I tell you, I went to bed last night really thinking what today would look like by the time it ended. And we thank good Lord that he allowed everything to pass us over for the most part. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner May.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Commissioner Cozart, for stepping in at the Veterans event. Unfortunately, my wife has been very sick of late and was unable to attend, but I know it was well covered, and they do a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
The Veterans Affairs Committee is one of the few committees in the county which it actually raises its own money and supports its own events. It's definitely not a doesn't come in and ask for donations.
I think we give it $1,000 a year, and I think they ask some other funding from other municipalities, but they self-support it and they do a fantastic job. We talked a lot this week about economic development, and I'm glad to hear it because we have to have that growth. We cannot sustain ourselves on valorum taxes. And so we have to continue to beat that drum. I feel that we're positioned well in getting there, but we're late in getting there, and I want us to, every opportunity we get to expedite that process and move that ball forward, I'm hoping we'll do that. And I'm also was excited to hear from Ryan Combs, I hope I got his name right. We talked about agritech and what that could do for Granville County and how we're positioned about that and how it's important that, you know, we do look at our farmland in a way that we haven't looked at it maybe in the past, but really make sure that we're positioned to where we have much of that available. South Granville High School is very close. They've completed the building. We're just waiting for the weight room equipment to get arrive and get placed in there. There will have a ribbon cutting. I know that you'll all be there. We'll all celebrate that. That's fantastic. And then we'll move on to working with the school board, moving on to web and getting that concession stand up to speed. And I'd like to also talk about the $15 million loan. Just curious, County Manager, just when I finish, just give us an update on where we're on that so we get some additional things done in our schools in an expeditious manner by providing them that loan. And I think that does it, and thank you, and it's a pleasure to be here tonight.
Okay, Commissioner Karan.
So I want to appreciate Dr. Cozart for mentioning Deanna's name. I was looking up on the internet here to try and figure out I know her as Mother Love. And I think most of the community probably knows her that regard as well. And, you know, it's one of those, sometimes the actual name of the person is difficult, but she has been a godsend to our community, and to hear her backstory, and wholly deserving of the John Penn Citizen of the Year from our Chamber of Commerce. And the Chamber does a great job. I mean, they're small but mighty. You know, and now Leadership Granville's in full force. I think they've kicked things off there, and they're off and running. Would encourage members who haven't been through that process to do it, as well as citizenry. One other thing I'd like to say thank you to our staff. You know, our plates are full. Staff's the same exact way. And the Holly Design kickoff and firm selection, we've come to a point where we've selected a firm now. Commissioner Griffin was part of that process. Scott Phillips, you know, and the manager, deputy manager, and other folks that were involved in that. I miss people, but wearing a ball cap in the back. One other thing I'd like to mention is food for thought. We have put in place and gone through an entire cycle of number selection of the chairman of this board. And I think that when we put it in place, there was a rationale behind it. And I believe that it's time to suspend that role just by district, and that we need to really reevaluate, especially with some changes coming on this board, how that chairman selection works. And I just want to make sure we mention it now before things move forward with elections, because folks think that they may step onto the board and that role is a coveted role, and the expertise and the amount of work that it takes to fulfill that role, as well as the understanding and the knowledge that comes with experience. I don't think it's something you can walk into in 5 minutes. So I just want to make sure that we put that out there, that we really seriously consider moving away from district ordered filling of that seat. So one other thing, lost my train of thought. Oh, on the facilities, you know, we have our meetings. We had last week a pretty robust
was supposed to be 3 hours, wound up being 5. When something comes forward for information purposes during a retreat or during our Board of Commissioners regular meetings, and I think sometimes we're expected to vote on them pretty quickly without additional thought or concerns with the, and this is with Stovall, I'm kind of at a loss as to how we went from a lease for one purpose to changing it into a completely different entity. So I want to make sure that that doesn't continue to grow legs. We still have that lease, and after the Northern Granville Senior Center opened and we're paying, nothing for rent, basically $1 a year, but those facility costs for electric, HVAC, and those upkeep things, I think that's something that this board really needs to take a look at, and it's in the weeds. I mean, for us to be policymakers and to actually know, what we're paying to who and how and when is kind of beyond the scope. So I think we need to make sure we really evaluate those type of things. And I, for one, felt really blindsided on that. And I just want to make sure that I express my feelings on that. And the other thing is that the community at large and other elected officials and how things work, in particular with schools and when the consolidation happens, that other entities think that they're like automatically in the bidding for things. That's not how it happens. That's a county-owned facility when it's a school. And when the school deems that it's no longer going to be a school, that reverts to the county. It's not up for a city to say, oh, hey, look at that. We've got an opportunity now. And we can just go ahead and jump right in there. This is a county. Those are county buildings. And if the county's got plans that the cities may not have been aware of, and at city commissioner meetings, you start hearing about, oh, we're next in line. We're going to be getting that. I just want to make sure that I put out in public that that's not how it works. These are county facilities. And when the counties makes the decision, then other people have an opportunity. So Oxford in particular, and make sure that they understand that Mary Potter is a county facility and probably will remain a county facility. That's all I have this evening.
Commissioner Gooch?
Thank you, Chair. First of all, I'd like to thank the sheriff for coming forward tonight and for his comments, and I want you to know we really appreciate it. There's some political grandstanding going on, and the sheriff takes no part in that, and I'm thankful for him and thankful that he doesn't condone that. The other part is, you were talking about, county manager, you were talking about you had invited people to come and sit down and talk with you about and the finance director about the fund balance. How many have accepted your invitation?
We had one gentleman in last year, and I think we anticipated sitting for an hour. He had lots of questions, and we had lots of information to share. We ended up spending 2 or 2.5 hours with him, and I think he left feeling quite satisfied and maybe even surprised at the answers that he had received. But truly, that's not all we're here for, but that's part of what we're here for, is to help demystify, what happens in a $90 million a year organization with 27 departments. There's a lot of complexity there that not a lot of people fully understand, but we're happy to question, answer questions about.
Yeah, thank you. So you've had one person in basically last year and this year. And how many invitations have you put forward?
I either respond to people who are sending in lots of questions or who are, just sort of posting things or writing things in the newspaper, and who clearly have an interest and in kind of county finances. But, I think, again, there's enough complexity there. I get surprised almost every day by something that I didn't know. And if I'm surprised, pretty regularly, I'm certain that most people out in the general public would also have things that that they wouldn't be aware of, context, details, laws that govern how we operate our finances or how taxes work, all of the above. And so I don't spend a lot of my days sending out individual invitations, except to people who are expressing a considerable interest or concern about county finances. But really, it is an open invitation. So if anybody is hearing this and is interested, I'd be happy to meet with you.
Thank you. I appreciate that because, we strive for transparency. We don't always accomplish it, but we strive for it. And we're not trying to hide anything from anybody. And it's real easy for someone to sit behind the keyboard and express their opinions. And oftentimes they express their opinions as if they were facts, when you need to really get out there and find out the real facts, the truth behind it. And we have just finished up our space needs assessment, and that puts us, the next step is putting forward what we're going to build, what buildings we need to renovate, what buildings we need to build. How do we, where are we going? We know that we're facing the courthouse expansion, and we've been putting that off for a good many years. They've been quite patient with us, but I think their patience is wearing thin, and we've got to move that up the priority list. But the reason we have been putting it off is finances, the amount of money. We've been trying to pay down some debt. We've also been building a fund balance. Unfortunately, our fund balance will not meet our needs. Yeah, even if you depleted it down to nothing, it won't meet our needs building wise. So, I wish people would take some care in their thought process and get the real facts, find out what's really going on, and accept your invitation. And that's my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gooch. I just like to, I attend the chamber banquet, and it was great. And the lady that got that John Penn's award, and I think I saw on that Oxford gave her award Tuesday night too. And people's like, we have a lot of people in the community that do great deeds, great work in here in the county. Also, I went to the district meeting Thursday down in Welton, and it was a good meeting. We just didn't have no. Out of District 8, we didn't have nobody, but most of the county managers and system managers. I think it was just 2 commissioners out there of District 8 represented. Huh? It was a good meeting. It really was. And they came up with a whole lot of questions, and I look at it after the questions that everybody was asking. I look at it and said, Granville County's in good shape. We was ahead of the game. And that come from staff, and we appreciate it. Also, just like to remind the board, Commissioner Williford, Commissioner Griffin, and our district chair and vice chair, they told us, when the people sign up for public comments, do not ask questions, cause you open up a can of worms. So I'm just letting you know that we, I know sometimes it might be necessary, but but we need to do it later on. Okay? All right. And that said, we have other matters, And Commissioner May.
Thank you. I just want to make a quick comment and then go into another comment here. We're going to get funding requests for a lot of different things, and county manager, you know, we maintained $10,000 in a Oxford account last year, and there were other municipalities that did not receive summer funding. So as we go across and look at these funding requests like this, I want to make sure that this board has an understanding that we're going to treat all municipalities the same, and that should this board decide to provide funding to a municipality for whatever reason, that across the board we would apply similar funding, and that way we keep it real and make sure that we're meeting all the needs across the county, not just meeting certain needs or not just meeting historical needs, but needs that all these cities change. Some may need a bump. Say, man, I need a bump. Or maybe, you know what, in a year like this year, who knows? Maybe we zero it out. So that's just my thoughts there. So, Mr. J, I got a question for you to help me with this here. Has there been any progress on the Orange Street Community Center property conveyance? Have we made any progress on that?
Yes, we have. And we was waiting on, because everything's supposed to have been done after that, because we supposed to have had the roof on before then, but everything else is.
So my thoughts are is that can we not move forward with that conveyance? We've agreed to put the roof on. We have agreed to put the roof on, and that motion I made that we would review the lease, but we would be putting on the roof regardless. We were going to make sure. So can we not move forward regardless of when that may occur? Because it's going to occur. We're going to put the roof on.
Oh. That's mainly what we was waiting for, because they said we're going to put the roof on.
Right. Well,
and
you're right.
Nothing being done right now.
Right.
So
we got that settled. It's just a question of getting the right contractor. I think Mr. Scott can probably answer that better than anybody, but we're just, once we get, I guess, the right bid or whatever. Mr. Scott.
The roofing contract issue is a matter for attorney-client privilege. We can address that briefly in executive session.
Okay. What I'm getting at is that we've been trying to get this resolved for a pretty long period of time now, and I'd like to see if we can get this resolved by June 1. And that would mean, regardless if the roof is on or not, that we can move forward with the property conveyance and we can see if we can pass that property to them. Is that agreeable?
That agree with that. We're going to put the roof on, right?
We've already voted that the roof would go on. And by the...
I don't want to come on and at the end saying, no, we can't put it on, something else come up.
Right, so
I believe the money's been appropriated for the roof.
Yeah, so what I'd like to do is that I'm recommending that the Community Center provide us a notice and let us know by June 1 that they are going to accept the conveyance of property. And if they do not wish to accept the conveyance of property, that the property will go into public, will be advertised in the public. We will advertise, let me go back here. It'll be offered for surplus and then advertised for auction. So my hope is that they will take on that conveyance, because if they take on that conveyance, it becomes their building.
I think Jim's supposed to be writing don't you supposed to be writing a, what you call it, lease agreement from it?
I think a letter, I drafted a letter in December, that was sent in January, specifying the terms of on which the property would be transferred. And I haven't been involved in any further conversations about that, but I believe Drew sent it in January.
So I'm going to make a motion to this board that we, by June 1, that we receive from them affirmation that they are willing to accept the conveyance, the property, and if not received by them, then we will move to, at the appropriate time, to end the lease, because the lease is good until February. But then we would offer the property up for surplus at that point, if they did not decide to take it. And that's my motion.
I second.
Are there any questions or comments?
I have one. So the Orange Street Community Center has a board in place, Dr. Cozart, is that correct? So that conveyance, Commissioner May would go to the Orange Street Community Center Board for their review, and then they either, just so I understand, they would accept it under the conditions that we've laid out with the roof being replaced, that we've already appropriated the money for by June the 1st.
That's right. And they should be in possession of a letter that was written by the county manager, I believe, that explained the conveyance, and it also explained the conditions that were applicable to that acceptance.
She read the letter at our last meeting that we got.
Dr. Cozart.
And I believe what happened, there was a member missing, so they wanted to have time for the other people to read over it, make sure that everybody had a chance to give input. And then at that point, she will compile any comments or concerns, get those back to county manager and go from there.
Okay. So based on the recommendation I made, we can expect to hear something back from them by June 1, correct?
Yes, you will.
There's been a first and second. I'll leave it at that.
Any question? Any more questions?
Aye.
All opposed?
Mr. J, just one more thing on that. And there is no doubt this board is going to put a roof on that building. That is no question about that. Okay?
Okay.
It's been appropriated. Everything's good.
I didn't say that. I said that to say this, because one time was hesitation one time about this with the senior center and Snowball, trying to make it something else and whatever and everything else, try to prolong the agony. But anyway, we're willing to do it. Just like to said, I would like this board, we have a lot of people been asking questions about homeless. I know it's homeless all over the county. And I would like to sit down with Oxford, Budner, Cremo, and all us to sit down and talk about the homeless problem. None of us don't have enough money to build a homeless shelter.
But Commissioner J, Chair J, do we have any numbers that has anyone counted? Can we count the homeless population? Can we get a figure? Do we have 10? Do we have 5? Do we have 50? Can we get a count before we start moving forward with anything to see how big a problem we have versus how much? That way we'll know how much money it will be needed.
That's why I'm saying that I want to sit down and talk with what to count.
Yeah.
That's why I want to sit down and find out what the count is. Everybody saying we got homeless this, homeless that. Oh. Could you come to the mic for a minute, Sheriff?
And it's two, I want to make sure that we're dealing with homeless and not people that are struggling to stay in their home, because it's a whole nother issue. Right.
Good evening. We did a count last year, Creedmoor, Butner, all over the county, and it was about 20 to 25. Now, those people sleeping in cars, those people sleeping in tents, those people sleeping under the bridge, over by the orphanage in the woods back there. People that couldn't maintain places, we didn't count those. We counted people like in their cars or either in a tent. Cornerstone usually does a great job with us, because anytime we have a white flag situation, Cornerstone, the sheriff's office, Mother love her. She will always help out. So Wendy Tatum, all of us work together. But the most we had in the homeless shelter this year for the cold weather was about 7. Everybody else was either put in a hotel or something like that with vouchers. But right now, our count was around 20 to 25, and that was like in the last year. So we can go back and do it again. Mother Love and some of the other people that we can work with to get a number for you. If you give me a couple weeks, we'll try to do a survey of where the people are, and that's something we've done before. So we'll just do it while we're out working. So we'll try to get a count for y'all in the next couple weeks. By the next board meeting, I can give you a number.
Thank you. So I just want to be clear on my position on this is government is always not the answer. And so I really hope if we're going to do anything that we really look at the faith-based type of situation where we engage our houses of faith and have them work toward how we may be able to help them if that's, but I want us to be very careful at this board, you know, how you intend to address the issue and versus thinking that it's just a government response.
It's not a government response. I'm not looking at it as a government response. I'm looking at people saying we have homeless. And what are we doing with homeless? I'm saying, I don't know. So we need to talk about it. So we need to talk about it. Okay? All right.
Sounds good.
All right then. Are there any other matters?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Karan said something. I had said I wasn't going to say it tonight, but I been over at Mary Potter campus, just looking at it with a different set of lens last couple of weeks. And I want to say that I think we'll have an option for something that we need, I think, that may lend itself to a very, very financially feasible situation to address a need. So I just leave with that for now. And for a later conversation, when we get to that point, looking at our needs, I think we have probably a gem there that we can work with. But we'll talk more about it later.
Oh, okay. If not, can I get a motion? Can I get a motion to go into closed session?
I make a motion, we go into closed session with a 5-minute bio break first.
Second.
It had been moved in proper second, and we go into closed session with a bow break.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.